Okay, so here's the project management homework piece. There's two parts, a Word document and an Excel spreadsheet. For the Excel spreadsheet, just note that there are different tabs at the bottom. There's a P&L report, and then there's also income information. So for the first question, it says, how many diagnostic procedures need to be completed for each diagnostic category? And how many hearing aids are required to meet that listed income? Use the provided income estimates for each procedure. So in layman's terms, that means open up your Excel spreadsheet and look to the first chunk of numbers in the P&L section. So it says income clinical. There is income for diagnostics for an adult, for vestib, ABR vents, peds, and then a hearing aid income and the gross income. So basically what you're looking at is between all of these, the adult, vestibular, ABR vent, and peds, and the hearing aids, you made $1 million. And if you look across, so the income for the adult testing was $120,000, then you have $60,000, $60,000, $60,000, and $700,000. So basically, he's just asking you how many of each test did you do in order to come up with this large number. So in order to do that, we need to figure out, well, that's great. I know I need to know how many tests. I know how much total we made, but how much does each individual test cost? What am I getting for doing one audiogram? So if you click the tab at the bottom to move from the P&L report to the income information, you actually have this here. And it's basically telling you, okay, to do an adult audio, it costs us $50, and all that's gonna do is the audio and temp, and it takes us about a half an hour. So for adult audios, it's $50 per audio. So we're gonna come back into this sheet, and he said we could do this all on one. So what I'm going to do and what I'm gonna show you guys is how to use Excel here, just to kind of do the math for you. So if you look in D, what you're gonna have to do is, I'm gonna just label this so it's cost per test. And so for my adult audio, we said that is 50. Oh, and if you see on the top here, see how it's set to general? You can actually select this and you can make it into currency. Wow, go down. So currency, and that's how I get the dollar amount. Okay, so for my vestibular, it is $250 per test. So $250. Oh, I guess, all right, sorry. So in order for this whole column to be money, you actually have to select the whole thing. So select what area you want to be money and make sure currency is selected. There we go. There, now we have $250. Okay, so let's see how much the ABR is. ABR is $150 and the pediatric audio is $75. So again, I'm just gonna do $150, then pediatric was $75. And for the hearing aids, he said he was going to do $2,000. So now that you have this, in order to answer question 1, we just need to know, okay, if it's $50 for one test, how many times does 50 go into 120,000 for the number of tests you had to complete? So I'm gonna put number of, I guess procedures. You could put tests. You could really put whatever. So anyway, in order for Excel to help you out, what you're gonna do first is you're gonna put an equals, which means that your equation started. Then you can literally select the block. So equals 120,000 divided by, which is just a slash, and then you can click the other block, divided by 50. So how many times can you put 50 into 120,000? Once you have your equation, you just hit enter. and it'll calculate it for you. So basically the answer is there's 2,400 audios at $50 each will make this 120,000. So you're gonna do the same thing for all of these. So I'm just gonna do this, and I'm gonna divide it by 250 this time. So there you go. This here. And so essentially you'll do that for each individual test. So that's how you do question 1. You will do it for all of these, so you just have the last 2 to go. Now, question 2 says, how many hours are needed to provide the procedures listed below on an annual volume? Use the provided procedure time estimates. So going back to this sheet, we know the number of procedures and everything, but what is the amount, as I spell terribly, so amount of time, let's say time per procedure. And anytime that you guys need to extend this, you can actually just go up and you can move this over if your title's gonna not fit exactly. So you're gonna have to switch again, go down to the bottom, and you're gonna go back to this income information. And so these are your times. They are in decimal form. Basically 0.5 is a half hour, 1.5 hour and a half. So an audio he is assuming is gonna take us a half an hour. So let's just put in our amount of time. So 0.5. 1.5, 1.75, and 3. So we'll go back over here. 1.5, 0.7. Oh, no, actually, hold on, sorry. I think it's 1. Yep, so for an ABR, he's saying an hour. So an ABR is an hour. Pediatric testing, you still slide over, is 0.75 or 3/4 of an hour. And for hearing aids, he's putting it at 3 hours. Now that 3 hours is not only the actual fitting and ordering, it's the whole shebang, follow-ups and all of that. So I'm just gonna scooch this over here so we can see a little bit more. So now we have our number of procedures. That's what we did in question 1. We know how much each procedure costs and the total amount we made. We also know how long it costs to do each procedure. So what we want to know now is the total time annually. So essentially all we're doing now is just figuring out, okay, we know we did 2,400 audiograms at $50 each, which gave us $120,000. But to make $120,000, how long did it take us? So the easiest way to do this is, again, we're gonna put in the equation, so you'll need to do your equal sign first. You'll take your number of procedures. So how many did you do? And you're gonna times that, or the little baby star, you're gonna times it by the amount of time each procedure is. Hit enter. So we spent 1,200 hours doing audiograms annually. So then we're gonna just do the same thing, do equals. You can select your boxes, and remember we are gonna times it by the amount of time it takes us. So that's gonna be 360 hours. I believe that was for the VNG, vestibular testing. And so the last one, we'll put equals again. And we did 400 of these procedures. 400 times 1, is 400. I just think it's nice to kind of know where you're at with the equations. So then once you have all of these, we want to know, well, okay, how much time did it take me to do all of these? Remember, you're still going to fill in this. You're going to fill in here. So you guys are going to have to figure these out. here, and here. So then you're going to select all of these, and you're gonna go up here and see that little sigma? You're just gonna click that. It's not gonna work right now because I have those 2 X's in there, so, but I will have values in here. It's actually just gonna add everything up for you. So down here is gonna be your total amount of time for all of these procedures. So literally all it's doing is audiogram plus vestibular testing plus ABR plus pediatric plus hearing aids. How much time overall did it take me? And when I calculated it out, just so you guys know, this is what I got. So just as a checkpoint to see where you're at, the total hours to reach $1 million, which is, again, all of those values added up, was 3,610 hours. I did double check this a few times, so this is a good point to make sure you're on track. So that's question 1 and 2, all done. Unfortunately, my camera is kind of dying, so I'm going to split this up into 2 videos. I'll see you back for questions 3 and 4.